Today's video, I'm going to talk about spirituality. No, it's not what you think. Listen up. When you are on a spiritual journey, in the beginning, you manifest, you reverberate, you have matching energies all around you. That's what you believe in, that's what you see. But when you get to the next level of ascension, you stop needing other people to be in the same vibration as you. You're integrating. Your entire being is becoming spiritual. Your entire being, your entire essence is becoming part of divine, part of the divine, part of divinity. It's becoming divine, effectively. And so, if you engage with people who have nothing nice to say to you, if you engage with people who don't vibrate with you at all, that's a sign from the universe that you are on the next stage of your spiritual ascension journey. You're fully integrated. Now bear in mind that it takes time to fully integrate. I'm not there yet. Hope to be there, but I'm not there yet. And so it's gonna hurt. When people don't like you, when people are not nice to you, they don't have the same interests as you have, it hurts. It's troubling. It makes you feel like, gosh, what am I doing wrong? Why can't people vibrate with the same vibration as me? Why is God sending to me people who vibrate differently to me? Why is God sending me all sorts of energies which are there to hurt me? Actually, that's not the case. Not at all the case. God is helping you ascend, integrate, and be fully integrated from a deep place from within. When you are integrated from a deep place from within, you stop needing other people to vibrate on the same level as you. And you don't have to agree with anybody. You stop having that need and that desire to agree with others. You listen. When you're on a spiritual ascension journey and you're reaching to the right place, right plane, the right plateau, you're able to listen. And nobody has to agree with you. In the beginning of my spiritual journey, I was encouraged to let go of my interests in the news, interests in the politics surrounding me in this particular country or in the other two countries which I had interest in. I had interest in 3 countries' politics: Israel, America, and also England. I was interested to know what's going on. That was up until May this year. Since May, I basically had no more interest after I learned spiritual teachings which taught me that any interest in politics is not good for my soul's ascension. But lately, my interest is coming back. It's interesting to note that history was made in a few months that I stopped having interest in politics. A lot of historical events took place. For instance, in Israel, for the first time ever, a prime minister was re-elected within a few months of his previous election. An election happened within a few months of the previous election. That was a historical event. In England, the prime minister, a woman, stepped down. That was an historical event. It was majorly historical. And in America, I know very little about what's going on so far, but I know that there's been the impeachment hearings against Donald Trump. And all these things are slowly coming back to me. They're slowly starting to interest me again. I'm interested in it again, but it's not like it was. I used to be a newsaholic. I used to love the news. I used to have a very strong, keen interest in the news. And when I stopped having that interest, as a result of my spiritual ascension, my spiritual awakening in May, it sort of made me become like almost ignorant to a point. And it's quite interesting because I didn't even know that the Prime Minister in this country was Mr. Boris Johnson. I had to go into an ultra-Orthodox Jewish school for parents' evening to find out that the Prime Minister of this country is Boris Johnson. I didn't even know that. Which is very interesting, bearing in mind that I was a newsaholic. I really loved the news. It was a safe space for me, I guess, if you like. But getting back to the point, I'm going back, becoming interested again in politics, but it's not going to be like it was. It's never going to be like it was, because my interests have changed, and I don't care for debates. I don't care for political debates. I have very little interest in debates between lawyers, for instance. I have no interest in lawyers. I think lawyers are totally out of my paradigm, are totally not my type of sphere. So why am I mentioning that? I'm just mentioning that because I used to like lawyers and I used to like that kind of sphere. That used to be my interest as well. Sort of like that paradigm as well, and that's gone. Even now, I'm sure I'm getting back into the interest in politics. When it comes to things like law, lawyers in particular, or any means of debate or structural differences between people, I'm not interested. Nothing to do with me. So that's the interesting part of my spiritual ascension journey. Getting back to the point, when you're spiritually ascending and you have people who don't vibrate with you, don't think it's the universe's way of saying to you, hey, you're not manifesting your wishes. Must be you're not doing the good job you're supposed to be doing as a spiritual leader. None of that. If you are on a spiritual ascension journey, you need nobody, and I say nobody, to validate you. When you are on a spiritual ascension journey, you need nobody, I mean nobody, to actually agree with you. You can listen. You're able and you're a lot more capable of listening. A spiritual ascended being, a spiritual liberated being could listen. Listen, listen, listen. You don't have to add a point. You don't have to have an opinion, because you're fully integrated and you're fully ascended as a spiritual being. I want to point out as well that some people get very afraid of being alone. They get very afraid of it, and they'll do whatever they could not to be alone. Why is that? Because again, we've been conditioned to believe that we need to have people around us in order to survive, when in reality it's a lot grayer than that. In other words, it's a gray area. Let's bear in mind that for most of Jessica Madden's life, Jessica Madden was alone. For most of my life, I was alone. Whether I was alone, living with a mask, with a costume, representing myself in order to please the people around me, or it was post-transition. I've survived alone, and I'm learning to love myself from a very, very deep place from within. If you see my videos in the last few days, you'll see that it's all about loving myself from a deep place from within, not being dependent on others for that love. An integrated being doesn't need the validation of another person for their existence. An integrated spiritual being doesn't need the validation and the approval of another person in order to know that they are an essence of themselves, in order to know that they are their own identity. If you need somebody else's approval, that means you haven't ascended yet. And if you have nobody in your life who sees eye to eye with you, approves of your spiritual path, that's a sign of your spiritual ascension. That's a sign of your spiritual progress. It's not a sign of any problems which you may think are materializing and manifesting in your realm, in your paradigm. In yesterday's video, I mentioned the fact that I don't care anymore if a rabbi or a spiritual leader, okay, spiritual leaders are very inclusive, so I wouldn't put spiritual leaders in this particular message, but I don't care if a rabbi or a spiritual leader agree with my life-saving transition, which I manifested and put in practice in 2015. I don't care anymore. It's none of my business. They can sit on their comfortable couch and throw their opinions upon me. Nothing to do with me. Why is that? Because it goes along with this message. Spiritual ascension, spiritual awakening, and spiritual integration. Integration. Integrate who you are as a human being. Become independent. Don't be reliant upon another human being for your means of identity, for your validation, for your feelings of worthiness. And if somebody sees you as inferior, who cares? Nothing to do with you. Let it go. Let it be. That's my powerful message today. If you enjoyed this YouTube video, smash that like button and feel free to share away and feel free to drop your comments. I want to thank again Mike, Beth, Rashawn, and Positivity for your amazing message in the last few days. I love you all. Thank you for your comments. Share away. I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Sending you lots of love. Have a good day. See you later. Bye.